I'm recording this on Super Bowl Sunday. It's 5:58 at the time of this recording. So the Super Bowl is starting in like 30 minutes. And there's a good chance you don't care at all. Maybe you don't like football. Maybe you don't like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I think there's a storyline that's playing out tonight, or that will have played out by the time you're watching this, that has something to teach me and people like me who are struggling with feeling like a failure or feeling like your life isn't going the way it's supposed to. The starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers is a guy named Brock Purdy. You know how in recess, like if you're not athletic and you want to play but you're no good, you get picked last? That even happens in the NFL. The NFL has a draft and they pick the players. Brock Purdy was the last guy picked in the draft in 2022. 7 rounds, 32 teams, so 32 picks per round. He's the last pick of the 7th round. So that's a lot of guys picked before him. And he earned the horrible title of Mr. Irrelevant, which is the title given to the last person drafted every year. Because, he's the last guy picked in the NFL draft. He's never going to play. He's probably terrible.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So the San Francisco 49ers picked this guy, and no one expects anything of him. But then the problem is that all the other quarterbacks on their team at some point in the season were not able to play. So they were stuck. Like, the only person who could play is freaking Mr. Irrelevant. So, okay, Brock, get out there. So out he goes, and he actually plays really well. He leads his team to the playoffs.
Playoffs?
He gets hurt, so they lose, and because he's not able to play in the playoffs. But this season, coming into the Super Bowl, he was the starter. They said, well, he did really well last year, let's run it back. And he did really well to get his team to the Super Bowl. But the whole year, people were talking like, oh, well, they're not really winning because of Brock Purdy. Like, he's not really a game changer. He's not really the difference maker. He's just kind of along for the ride. And they were talking about him like he was this bum, like he was this nobody. And I was hearing this stuff, and I was thinking to myself, man, how come we're not like celebrating this guy? Imagine, his title is literally Mr. Irrelevant, and he's in the Super Bowl as the starting quarterback. At the time that you're watching this, you may know what happened. Maybe he won, maybe he lost. I don't know.
It doesn't matter how
The fact that he's there at all, the fact that he's the starting quarterback for a team in the NFL when he was Mr. Irrelevant, that's a huge success.
Great success.
And the lesson I think there is for people like me who struggle with feeling like a failure is sometimes I feel like I get too focused on the fact that I didn't do everything I set out to do. Like, oh, I had all these life goals and I had all these plans, and life has a funny way of derailing those things, right? Instead of focusing on the things that I'm chasing that I still can't reach, I feel like it's good for me to take time to look back at how far I've come and everything that I've overcome to get to this point. Instead of calling myself a failure because I haven't reached those lofty goals yet, it's important to stop and look back at how far God has brought me and all the stuff I've done to get to this point, and take a moment to be grateful for everything that's happened. And I hope that you'll do the same, because I know I'm not the only one who walks around feeling like a failure, feeling like they've kind of missed the boat and that life is passing them by and that they're not able to keep up with the pace that they wanted to set for themselves with life. There were things you were supposed to do and things you wanted to accomplish, and they just never happened, and now you sit there and you're like, man, I guess I'm more of a failure than I thought. No. Look at how far you've come. Even if you don't win the Super Bowl, that doesn't mean you're a failure. Even if you win the Super Bowl and it's not because of you or whatever, that doesn't make you a failure. Look at everything you've overcome to get to this point. I wanted to get this out around Super Bowl time because this is something that I think we can all benefit from. This idea of focusing on gratitude for where we've come from instead of feeling like a failure because we haven't reached the end yet. But let's keep pushing, and I'm sure we'll reach our goals sooner rather than later. All right. Be safe, take care, I'll see you next time.